Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Izzy. If you have stumbled across this video, hello. This is my September and October reading wrap up. I combined them because in September I only read 4 books and in October I really ramped it up. I'll cut to it because this is a long video, so I'll see you for the first book. Hi, this is the first book that I read for September. I feel like I'm kind of getting on the verge of a reading slump. I just finished The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. I have some thoughts. I have some thoughts about this one. The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager is about this girl named Casey, and she is at her lake house. There is this new couple that moves in from across the lake from her. She kind of suspects that the husband is kind of a little creepo and a little weird, and he's just, their vibes aren't matching kind of thing. Casey kind of takes it upon herself to just make sure that the wife is okay, and she spies on the couple across the lake just to make sure everything's okay. But she starts noticing really weird things that are happening, and then all of a sudden the wife disappears. I have conflicting opinions about this book. I don't think I really liked it that much, to be honest. And let me tell you why. I think I really was 50% of the way through the book and nothing was really happening. It would tell you weird things were happening, or she was trying to it was just really slow, and honestly to me I kind of thought it was boring. It was so hard for me to get into this book, and then finally it started getting kind of good. We start kind of unraveling some things and I'm like, oh, okay, let's go. The ending was just not it for me. I thought it was kind of stupid, honestly. I've noticed that I spoil a lot, so at the end of the video I'm going to be giving my spoiler thoughts, so if you have read the book we can discuss. But yeah, I gave this book a 2 stars. Just wasn't my favorite, but let's see what else I read in September. I didn't do a transition, don't know why, but I finished Neon Gods by Katie Roberts. Excuse my fan also, sorry. Neon Gods is a retelling of Hades and Persephone, but in a modern twist kind of thing. So Persephone is going to this party. She finds out at this party that she is going to be engaged to Zeus without her consent. She didn't know about it, and he announces it and she's like, wait a minute. He's 60 years old and he's known to kill his wife whenever she's done with them, you know? So yeah, she's like, I don't want to do that. So she runs away to the lower end of town, which is for some reason they can't cross the bridge, because if they cross the bridge then war will happen because something. Let me just summarize all this up. Persephone meets Hades. It's basically a porn book. Which I knew going in. I knew this was going to be a smutty, dark romance, but I really thought there would be at least a little bit of plot, and there is, but how much? Not much at all. I don't know, it didn't sit right. I mean, I'm gonna tell you, the sex scenes are pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. There's some that are a little uncomfortable to me personally. Definitely not young adult this is kind of a little crazy. But yeah, if you're going in this thinking you're gonna have a cute little Hades and Persephone retelling, honestly low-key it's not even a retelling of Hades and Persephone at all. There's some references to being Hades and Persephone or whatever, but these could just be 2 random people. There's no real Greek mythology ness of it. It just feels like 2 random people. If that's what you're into, here you go. But yeah, I give this 3 stars. Let's see what else I get up into the month of September. Hello, hi. I have finished another. Actually, I finished 2 books, but this is the one that I literally just finished, and I'll talk about this one in just a second because I gotta end up.
So I rant. My start. Oh, sorry. Oh my god, I thought I wasn't recording. I ranted really hard on Love on the Brain, and I didn't realize it, I guess, when I was filming, how much I was ranting about this. But I was ranting a lot, and I was really going hard on why I did not like this book, and I felt like it was becoming almost a little excessive on how much I was ranting about this. It just is not. It's very long. It's a very long video or very long part of this. So I think I'm going to make a separate video just on a rant review of Love on the Brain, because it's very, very long. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that. If it looks like I didn't really talk a lot about Love on the Brain, but I looks like I'm ranting a lot, it's because I was, and I am going to just make it a whole separate video because it could be a whole separate thing on its own. So yes, that's where that's going. So back to the video. I finished Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. This is her new book that came out. If you don't know, she wrote The Love Hypothesis. I think everyone's read it. Let me just tell you about it. So this is about a girl named B who is working on a project with NASA to make this helmet for astronauts basically, and she is a neuroscience she has a neuroscience PhD, and she's super smart, or whatever, with the brain and whatever. In the story, she is getting transferred to Houston to work on this project, and she finds out that her grad school arch nemesis is also going to be a co-leader with her for this project, and his name is Levi. So it's just kind of telling the story of working on this project, kind of starting to it's obviously enemies to lovers, but it's not really enemies to lovers. Let me just say, I really liked The Love Hypothesis, and to be fair, I did read The Love Hypothesis in a night. It was really late when I read that, but still I did enjoy it a lot. And this one is the same but different, and it's the weirdest book not the weirdest book I've ever read, just the weirdest concept to me, because it's almost exactly like The Love Hypothesis, but it's just more annoying. There was nothing that I was I don't know, I was happy to the only thing that made me happy was finishing the book, because I didn't have to read it anymore. I was not the biggest fan. I actually gave this 2 stars. I think honestly, if she was written differently, and honestly I felt if Ali Hazelwood just kind of just toned it down a little bit on the quirkiness of the writing, trying to make it too funny, or trying to make it funny that it was forced, you know? It's like The Love Hypothesis, but worse. This next book was way better than the last book, and I finished Defend the Dawn by Bridget Kemmerer, which is the second book of the Defy the Night series. I'm so glad she's gonna be making this into a series. This is her new book that literally came out. I got it. This book is about what it leaves off where Defy the Night was, so it's kind of hard to tell you what happens and stuff because I don't want to spoil anything. And the cliffhanger at the end is I got chills. Oh my god, it's so good. I love this book so much. I love this book almost the exact same as I loved Defy the Night. I just love these characters so much. This series so far is so good so far. I gave this 5 stars. I love this series so much. This gives me the same feelings I had whenever I was reading Shatter Me for the first time. Not in the sense that it's the same concept of the stories are different, but it's giving me the same I love this so much. I was savoring every moment and I was loving every moment. Thank you for watching my September wrap up, and I'll see you for my October wrap up right now. Hi, it's October. I'm combining my October and my September wrap up because I didn't read that much. And the first book that I read in October that was so lame, but I read Furyborn by Claire Legrand. If you don't know what this book is about, it is about these 2 powerful queens. One is going to be the Queen of Light, and the other one is going to be the Queen of Blood. So one of them is set to destroy the world, while the other one is supposed to help save the world. And this also tells from 1,000 years in the past versus 1,000 years in the future. So, and it tells of the dual timelines between the 2 queens, Riel and Eliana. It's also, like I said, dual timelines, but also dual perspectives. I actually enjoyed it. This hooked me in. This really, the prologue
I guess is it the prologue? I liked it. I thought it was really good. The only thing that I like didn't love about this is that because of the dual perspectives, technically we're getting two different stories in one story. I felt like it was just action over action, like action packed continuously. Like there was just no like buffer scenes, which I know some people are like, why would you even ask for a buffer scene? But I feel like sometimes like it was almost too much action, and like it would leave off a cliffhanger, and then the other girl's story would start, then would leave off a cliffhanger, and then the other girl's story would restart. You're like, oh yeah, I forgot that was happening. Like I felt like I kept forgetting what was happening in the previous girl's chapter. I like it. It's a series. I'm thinking I'm going to read the rest of the series because I like it enough. I gave this book 4 stars. That's what I read for the first book I read in October. I'll see you for the next. Hello, I finished another book. I finished the second book of the Imperium trilogy, which is Kingsbane. This one leaves right off from where we left off in Furyborn, so I can't really say anything that happens in this, so this is going to be very short. Like I felt in Furyborn, it's just an overwhelming book. Like there's so much happening in this story that I am so overwhelmed. I'm probably leaning more to like a 3.75, not like quite 4 stars. And I also finished an audiobook. I listened to Bookish and the Beast by Ashley Poston. This has been on my TBR for literally so long. I finally got around to finishing it today actually. This is part of the Once Upon a Fan Club, I think, like series and stuff. This is her YA romance series and stuff. It's very cute. If you like YA romance, it's very geeky, nerdy. It's like quirky writing. To be honest, it's like quirky writing, but it wasn't annoying. I feel like she makes her quirkiness and stuff not unbearable. It's a retelling from Beauty and the Beast, obviously. It tells about Rosie, who is our main character, and Vance, dual perspectives. Rosie is just an average high school girly who really enjoys books. Vance is part of the Starfield film, and he is the villain in the Starfield franchise. It tells about them. It's very cute. I really like it. I love the characters in this. They were very cute. Yeah, it wasn't anything remarkable though, because I mean it's cute. I liked it, but there wasn't anything like astoundingly great about it, but there wasn't anything astoundingly bad about it. It's just a good book, I feel like, to get out of a reading slump, or just something really easy and fluffy and cute. And so I gave it 3 stars, not because it's bad. I didn't love it, but I didn't like absolutely hate it, and I just thought it was cute, and so I gave it 3 stars. So that's what I read so far, and I'll see ya for the next one. Hi, what's up? That was a really weird transition I decided to do, but I read A Lady for a Duke by Alexis Hall. This is a historical romance, and it's like in the Regency era, and it's about Viola. She was in the fight of Waterloo, and she was presumed dead, but she actually survived it. So she decides that this is her opportunity to make her ideal life happen. One day she comes across an old best friend that she had called Gracewood, and they reconnect again, and that's all I'm gonna say. Viola is transgender, so that's why I said like she basically transitioned after people thought she was dead. I really enjoyed this. I think the characters were so good and so funny and witty. Lady Marley is like my favorite character. The only thing that I say I didn't love about this is the pacing to this novel. It's very slow. It's almost slow the entire time until, honestly, action happens. But it happens like on the very last few chapters, like something interesting happens and you're like, whoa, where did this come from? It kind of feels like it comes out of left field. And so that's the only critique I have this, and honestly why I knocked it down a whole star, because of the pacing of this. I definitely think this book is too long, but the writing is so pretty and beautiful. It's kind of like you're reading a Jane Austen book but modernized and with like a queer love story, I guess. I thought it was so cute. I'm gonna read more historical romances because I was eating this shit up. I was listening with my headphones and I was listening to the Bridgerton soundtrack. It was so good. I was having such a good time. Such fall vibes, honestly, with this book. I don't know. I loved it so freaking much. I recommend it. I gave it 4 stars. I thought it was super good. It's super cute. Some of the lines in this are just like my heart is melting. I loved it. The other book I read was The Final Gambit by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. But yeah, this is a very anticipated read for me. This is the last installment of the Inheritance Games. I think everybody knows what this book is about. I liked it. I thought it was good. Honestly, I think Jennifer Lynn Barnes is such a good writer. I feel like all of her books in the Inheritance Games are such fast read books for me. Like, I read The Final Gambit in one day. I read The Hawthorne Legacy in a night. I think I probably read the Inheritance Games in one sitting as well. I feel like these books are very fast paced and they're very good at getting you out of a reading slump, I feel like. I enjoyed it. There's some things I didn't enjoy and some things that were kind of obvious, that I kind of knew what was going to happen. I think a lot of their critiques, which I'll talk about in my spoiler section. So if you've read The Final Gambit, we can talk about it in our spoiler section. But I feel like a lot of the things that were set up in the second book didn't happen in the third book or weren't explored in the third book, and a lot of people were upset, including me. I was a little upset. But I thought the mystery of this was good. Like I said, it reminded me of the Inheritance Games, the whole mystery aspect. It was so good. I thought the pacing was really good. Characters are always good. I love Xander. He's my favorite character. I just love the funny, goofy ones, and he's just my favorite.
Hi, me again. I didn't mention my rating for The Final Gambit, and I rated it a 4 stars, and I kind of explained why I give it 4 stars. In my spoiler-y thoughts, you can probably figure out why I got it 4 stars instead of 5 stars. But yeah, I got it 4 stars. I still thought it was a great book. I would recommend reading the Inheritance Games trilogy. I think honestly it's a good series and it really did help me get out of a reading slump. So yeah, I recommend it a lot and I liked it a lot.
Alright, so that's what I've read so far. I'll see you in the next book. Hi! I read Verity by Miss Colleen Hoover, and here are my thoughts. I told myself, I said, if you do not like this book, I don't think I'm gonna read another Colleen Hoover book because I just don't think she's for me. Not saying that her writing is bad, I don't think it's like her writing necessarily, because I think she's a good writer. I just think there are key things that I really love about certain writing styles and she doesn't have what I love. I'll give her a chance. Three strikes you're out kind of thing. And I read it and I don't know how I feel about it, honestly. I actually thought that this is very interesting and the concept is very interesting, but it's still not my favorite book I've ever read. I think everybody on Goodreads gives this like a 5 stars, or you give it a 2 star or 1 star. I feel like I'm somewhere in the middle. Like, I can appreciate this because I can see why people love this, because it is like I said, very, very thrilling. It is like very, like, I want to be captured into this, and like I totally get it, but also see the points where people didn't like it. Let me explain if you don't know what Verity is about. I feel like everybody's read this, but Verity is about this girl, this author named Lowen. She is kind of like a struggling author. One day she gets a call from Verity's husband named Jeremy, and he's like, hey, Verity is in like this really critical condition. Like, she is like basically in like a potato state of mind, kind of like a vegetative state, not potato. I don't know why I said potato. She just can't do anything really. Could you finish her series? And she's like, sure, why not? But the thing is, she has to move into the house because Verity has so much writing and just all of this nonsense that she needs to stay at the house for a couple of days because there's just so much stuff to go through. So while Lowen is at this house, she kind of starts noticing that Verity, it feels like Verity is watching her, but she like knows that can't be true because she's in this like vegetative state. Like, she can't really do anything. She can't really think for herself. So she's like, well, I'm just getting spooked out, like whatever. Lowen comes across Verity's manuscript for an autobiography, and then it just kind of takes off from there. I will make a spoiler section for Verity. Here, the non-spoilers. She is such a good writer on hooking the reader in, and I think she does the exact same thing in this. However, I feel like Colleen Hoover puts trauma in her books for the sake of adding trauma. Like, it's not fully fleshed out, or it's not fully solved, I guess. I feel like she literally puts all this trauma for a character, or all this dramatic stuff happening in the book for the sake of drama, like for the sake of shock value. We find out that Lowen's mom had passed away from cancer, and it's brought up like 2 times, and then it's never discussed how she felt about it, because it's like, I don't really want to talk about it. And honestly, I feel like if that was explored more, it would have been interesting, because it's kind of like a parallel between her mom and what Verity had become, and I think that would have been very interesting to go over. But we go over her mom like twice, like 3-4 times, maybe at most 4 times, but she never discussed how she truly felt about her mom. Also, our main character is very, like, she's kind of boring. Lowen is very boring. I feel like most of Colleen's main women protagonists have absolutely no character development. They have no character development, and they have no personality outside of what is going on in the book. And that's very relevant in this one. I feel like Lowen is just an author. That's all we know about her. She's an author. Her mom had cancer. That's all we know about her. Like, we don't know anything about Lowen. It's really not focused on her, but there are, like, because she's going back in the manuscript and it is more about Verity. But I wish we still knew, like, some things about Lowen that made her, and we get nothing from her. Like,
sorry, let me put this in really quick. As well as, since Lowen has no personality or character development, how can an audience get attached to this and get attached to a relationship when they literally do not care about, they don't know anything about the main protagonist? I was reading this, and I could care less about Jeremy's and Lowen's relationship. Like, I didn't care. To me, it did not feel like a romance, more of a thriller with some subpar romance. Like, I literally did not care about the relationship whatsoever, because I didn't care about Lowen. Like, I didn't care about her at all.
I feel like her main female protagonist, you're supposed to put yourself in that scenario, and I feel like it's a very YN kind, like your name kind of scenario, like Wattpad stuff. I'm gonna summarize this because this is kind of getting a little too long, but I gave this 4 stars. Like I said, it sounded like I didn't like it. I did enjoy this. There's just things about it that I didn't love. That's why it's not 5 stars for me. But yeah, that is what I've got so far. So I will see you on my next book. Hello, I have my last book that I read in October. I read None Shall Sleep by Ellie Marney. None Shall Sleep is about this girl named Emma, and she is a serial killer survivor. So one day the FBI comes up to her and wants to work with her and to help kind of figure out the behavioral nonsense that goes on between teen serial killers. Plus, they also just think that having a teen investigator would help provide more answers. She gets put onto this team along with this guy named Travis, who is trying to be a cop. While this is happening, there is a new serial killer out on the loose, and they're trying to figure out what's going on and how they can catch this new teen serial killer. If you like true crime and just YA mystery, I think you would really enjoy this. I gave it 4 stars. I thought it was good. This was the last book that I read in October, and that is it. Thank you so much for watching my reading wrap up. If you want to continue and listen to my spoiler thoughts, then keep watching. I'm going to have them time card in the description so you know which one I'm going to be talking about, which ones you can skip, which ones you can stay for. So don't worry about that. If you're not, and if you don't want to stay for the spoilers, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Hi, you've reached the spoiler part of this video. Welcome. Hi, nice to have you. So right now this section is going to be about The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. The ending to the story was really weird for me. I did not see that Casey's ex-husband would possess Catherine's body. Like, that was weird. This is supposed to be like a thriller and stuff. When did we get into like paranormal shit that does not make sense? It did not add to the story like I thought it would, you know? Felt like there could have been something better, I guess. I don't know, only because I feel like the part of it, like the part where he tells the story, just to be really random and really odd. Like, it was just kind of thrown in there. The author couldn't really think of what the twist will be, so then he was like, oh wait, she's gonna be possessed by her dead ex-husband that killed these people. Genius. And then we find out that Tom actually did want to kill Catherine and was poisoning her, and I was just like, okay. This is like, I think it would have been a lot more interesting if like Boone actually was like obsessed with Catherine and was like really upset about it, and then something like that. Like, I just think the possession part is what throws me off. Let me know what you think. I am very curious how you feel about this book. Alright, spoilers for the final Gambit. I was so mad that Jameson and Avery ended up together because Jennifer Lynn Barnes literally sets this narrative up of Grayson being endgame with Avery. I liked the character progression of Grayson in this one because he feels like he's not enough. But he was so annoying in this because of Eve. Also, Eve, like, didn't we all know that she was gonna be evil? Like, even at the end, like, I wish at the end of the book where she's like at Vincent Blake's mansion stuff, like before they left and stuff, I wish Avery just knocked Eve out. Like, that's all I wanted. All I wanted was, like, I didn't feel any sympathy for Eve whatsoever. Like, I was the one, and I think Jennifer Lynn Barnes was trying to like make the audience feel bad for her, but I had, like, we don't know this character, right? So to me, she doesn't have character development. Like, I felt no sympathy for her whatsoever at the end. And I also wish that Grayson and Avery ended up together because I was Team Grayson. Like, I felt like in the first two novels, Jameson was very, not delusional or naive. It's more like he was just so immature, and it felt like Avery was so much older than him, like so much more mature than him, and he just kind of seemed like he was like playful. He seemed like a boy. That was the only thing I didn't love. I didn't love how they all of a sudden switched Grayson's character. I felt like that was just kind of random and stupid. I also don't know why. I know Jennifer Lynn Barnes wanted there to be like 4 grandkids, but literally Nash doesn't do anything in like the whole series. Like, he is so irrelevant in this whole series as a whole. Like, Xander, Jameson, and Grayson are so relevant, but Nash is so like he's not even a part of it. Let me know what you think. Are you still Team Grayson? Are you still Team Jameson? I know some people were Team Jameson. I like Jameson. I think he's a boy. He would play Avery a lot, because like literally one of the lines was like, if it's a competition between me and Grayson against you, like, I don't know if I'll be able to resist playing. So you're gonna play with our relationship? Like, what? Because you're jealous? What? Hi, you've reached the spoiler section for Verity. I don't know how I really feel about this ending. I feel like I kind of low-key love the open-endedness of it, that we're not sure if Verity really did do it or didn't do it. To me, it low-key really makes sense that, I mean, like I said, it parallels with everything in this. Like, I actually, like, we know that Verity writes in the villain's point of view, and I feel like it does make sense for her to like practice her writing by making a manuscript about her life. Do I think she's a little psycho that she did that? A little bit, but like it kind of like it makes sense. Like, I would be like, yeah, that makes sense. And in the novel, like, Jeremy is a little suspicious in like the ending of this and stuff. We like find out that Verity is not actually, like, she's just faking it all to like save herself and save Crew, supposedly. The only part that trips me up is when Crew, like, Lowen is trying to kind of interrogate Crew. I'm like, he's 5 years old. Why are you interrogating a 5-year-old? But anyways, I think it's kind of, the only part that's kind of fishy about it is whenever crew bites down on the butter knife. That's the only part that kind of like makes me a little suspicious, because it's like he didn't want to tell Lowen what actually happened and stuff on the boat. I might be team Letter on this. Like, I feel like, because at the end of the, like I said, at the end of the novel, like Jeremy is so like angry and like, like, I can't believe you tried to kill her, blah blah blah. And in the letter she notes that he tried to kill her like twice. So this is his third time attempting to kill her and stuff. So I feel like that would like low-key make sense, because he's trying to displace all of this trauma on Verity, and I feel like it low-key makes sense about everything. Also, Jeremy, I don't know if I trust Jeremy. He seems like he's almost too nice, and like almost too, like, you have to have some faults in there, and it like talked about no faults of his like whatsoever. So I feel like something is just not right with him. Why would you write the manuscript like right after everything? And also, if it was that big of a deal, why wouldn't you just tell your husband, hey, I am writing this manuscript and it's not true, but it's a writing practice? Like, why wouldn't you just say that if he came upon it? Or just like wrote, like, because there's like a preface to the beginning of the chapters of the manuscript, like, you have been warned from reading this. Like, why wouldn't you just say, hey, this isn't true? Like, I know it's supposed to be like a writing practice, but if you're scared that somebody's going to read it, why would you not put, hey, this is not real. Like, this is a dramatic of my life. Like, why wouldn't you say that? I feel like that's so stupid. Like, why wouldn't you just put that? So, I don't know. I kind of go back and forth, because I'm like, well, if she didn't put that, maybe it's true. Maybe she did do all that, and it's peachy keen. But I'm also kind of like, hashtag team Letter, because if he tried to kill her 3 times, or he attempted to kill her before, and then he finally did kill her, I feel like it low-key makes sense. I don't know. Let me know what you think. I'm just curious. There's a bonus chapter to Verity, and maybe it explains a little bit more. I don't know. I haven't read it, and I don't really plan on reading it. Okay, so you finished my reading wrap-up and my spoiler thoughts. That's a lot. This video is like 30 minutes long, but thank you for sticking around to the very end. I love you guys so much, and I will see you for my next video. Bye!